can see their anger and disillusionment. And then you add that to the fact that in Spain,
What can you expect to earn?
To live comfortably, it would be like around,
which is probably about 1,300 more than the minimum wage here.
But what a life is that?
I'm a singer-songwriter, musician, we could call that, yes. I'm playing the piano and I'm singing. So I have two bands. There are a lot of places where you can play music. If you will get paid for it, that's another question. That's again, yeah, some places it's less, some places it's more appreciated. If you already can take home some cash out of that, that's already a good thing. Yes, that basically most musicians are facing the same thing here. It's a little bit of struggle, like hustling, like artist life, but absolutely there's a lively music scene here, so I can't complain.
But it wouldn't necessarily be possible to earn a living from that?
No, I still have to like have other jobs on the side as well. Like I'm freelancing, I'm a language instructor, speaking 5 languages. I'm teaching 4 out of these 5, teaching people to speak English, German, Hungarian, and now that I'm fluent in Spanish, I'm speaking and teaching Spanish too. I was working as a German-speaking customer support agent.
I think living in Barcelona for a lot of people has become really difficult financially. There's been an influx of expats moving into the city from wealthier countries, people that have maybe a financial support from their home countries that's greater than the financial situation that locals have here, right? And so people that have been living here for a while, whether they were born in Barcelona or not, whether they were immigrant or from South America or from Pakistan or wherever they came from, I think it's becoming more and more difficult to live here for locals, because you have people that are so wealthy coming in. There's a lot of speculation with the real estate, and so therefore people are being displaced and kicked out, and they're being forced to look for options where they're either sharing apartment with 3 or 4 other people, or they're moving out to satellite bedroom communities where now they're forced to commute to come to work in Barcelona to, I don't know, to serve you your coffee at Starbucks. And I think that's a little bit cruel, personally. I think that Barcelona is definitely going on the trend that it's happened to so many cities in Europe, like Venice, Paris, you name it, right? All of these cities that only really affluent people can afford, yet they're cities that live mainly on service. And so the people that are providing you that service, whether it's coffee, restaurant, bar, you name it, shoe store, these people are making really basic salaries. They're what we call mileuristas, which basically means making 1,000 euros a month around the ballpark. And, like, you can't find an apartment for, what would you need an apartment if you lived by yourself making 1,000 euros a month? You would need to find an apartment that's $300 a month or euros, and that doesn't exist anymore. And so you're either forced to move out to other communities and commute, communities that maybe don't have the same attractive lifestyle that Barcelona has, but also relying on the public transportation that may not always work perfectly, the train system or the bus system or the metro. And so now you're commuting for an hour to come work in Barcelona to make 1,000 euros a month. And I can see some people in their faces in the street. I can see their anger and disillusionment. And then you add that to the fact that in Spain, you need to be 67 years old to retire. So you're like 35 years old, you have this awful job, making no money. You can't even like make it to the end of the month. And now you have to do this until you're 67. So sometimes I understand the discontent in people's faces here,
What would you say would be a range of salaries for these kind of jobs? Like between what and what can you expect to earn?
1,500 is the regular gross salary for an office job. For any type of office job, it's already a good salary. That's more or less 1,300 that you take home in your pocket with you after the taxes and everything. That's the regular, but it already counts like a good medium category salary. The basic that most people earn with ordinary jobs like working in a store or anything, it's around 1,100, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 euros. That's the minimum salary basically. And the flats, if you want to rent one, it starts from 1,200. So You cannot pay your whole salary to rent a flat. This is why most people, like young people like myself, we are living in shared flats. We just rent a room because the room is already expensive enough. So that's the reality of it.
What would you say in language schools would be an
Language
average
schools,
payment?
same or even a little bit less.
Even less. Okay.
Like
For a full-time job, that would be.
for full time. Well, I was working part time, but it didn't give me more free time. So I was still there from 10 until 8 p.m. and it was part time. So it was a bit weird, and still I didn't take home more than 1,200 a month. So that's the average salary. Then obviously it's a whole different thing if you own a company here, or if you have a restaurant, or if you have franchises. But
As a musician, do you get paid by the hour or per night?
per session, mainly
session.
per session. One session is more or less, could be 2 times 45 minutes, could be 2 hours in a block, and that's it. The average is 60, 70 euros per session.
Per session. Do you also have an estimation of the cost of living for a single person here? If you have a simple lifestyle.
Simple
lifestyle, yes.
Yeah, well, around 2,000 euros per month.
2,000 euros.
But for living much more well, if you want to live in a room and only pay the gym and going to work every day and eat rice, yeah, 1,000 is going to be enough. But what a life is that?
So if you like share an apartment with 2 or 3 people and you just rent a room, not a full apartment or a studio, I think to live comfortably, it would be like around 1,300 euros per month. So you can pay the rent, you can pay your bills and your food, and you can go out sometimes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you can save, unless you like order a lot of food online and you just eat out, then you won't be able to save any money. But for me, I think I would work with that without problems. My rent is like 900 euros for a 3-bedroom apartment.
The total rent?
The total rent, but without bills, without electricity, gas, but it's pretty cheap.
Good for Barcelona.
Yeah, but I think I only got that because my partner is Spanish. So the rental agency felt more comfortable to show around the good apartments with good price, to negotiate prices and everything. And on the other hand, for my Brazilian friend, she has the Spanish passport, but she's Brazilian, she doesn't speak Spanish. She came here and she had to rent a 1,300 apartment with no bills included, 2 bedrooms only. It doesn't have my views. It doesn't have any balcony. My apartment is literally in front of the Sagrada Familia. I have 2 balconies. My view is the Sagrada Familia, so it was cheap.
Simple, comfortable life in Barcelona, I would say you're probably looking at maybe about 2,500 euro a month, which is probably about 1,300 more than the minimum wage here. So maybe you want to try to get a salary from outside of Spain or Barcelona. I work for myself and I have a New York salary, so my idea of what it's like to live here is probably significantly different than what it's like for locals. But I would say if you're just coming here to live comfortably and to like not worry about bills and to be able to go out to eat every now and again, I'd say you're probably looking at about 2,500. You could probably get a small apartment for maybe between 900 to 1,000 euro. Or even if you want a roommate, you could probably get a room for even less. It's not going to be that much less, but you could do that, and then you'll just have a little extra money for utilities and food, drinks, grocery shopping. Food here is incredibly cheap, and so you can go to the store and you could load up your cart with a ton of stuff and not pay that much, and so you can really save a lot of money, because if you just, if you cook at home for breakfast and lunch and stuff like that, and maybe every now and again you go out to eat for dinner, like you'll be all set.
How would you estimate the cost of living here for a single person?
Okay, if you wanted to live, let's say in centric apartment, let's say Eixample, Gracia, Sant Gervasi, I'm gonna guess a nice apartment would be $1,500 euros a month. I don't think you can find super nice under that price. I think it's very difficult. So I'm gonna estimate you need to make at least 2,500 euros a month at least to be able to have a normal life and buy groceries and yeah, sure, you can eat €2 pizza every day, but that's not healthy. So you need to spend a little money in the market and eat healthier stuff.
And when we go back to your corporate job, how would you describe the work atmosphere there?
They do a lot of like activities, provide a lot of options for networking, for social activities together, offering some fruit in the morning. You can get free coffee. There are yoga sessions, acro yoga. You can try new things. There are like corporate events where you are invited. So they're trying to pump it up with these different kind of attractive things that they offer for free time activities. So after seeing the same people whole day long, you can still spend some time with them in your free time, which some people like, some people don't. But yes, there's a lot of options that they offer.
And in terms of cost of living, what would you estimate a single person would need in order to get by a month without any luxuries, pay the rent, to get food, to maybe do some activities sometimes?
I mean, public transport is very cheap here. You pay like 20 euros for public transport. With that, you can use per month. You can use all the local trains, the local underground, and bus connections, so everything. Then, what else do you need? Well, you need food. You need to buy groceries that you can smart it out. Absolutely, 30. A single person. We're talking about just a single person. 30, 40 euros per week. It's easy to get that in buying in local stores. Basically, a single person, I lived for per month, just myself, €1,000 a month. It could be a bit squeezed together, but obviously 1,000 to 300 would give you more freedom and flexibility to take part in, even go to a concert sometimes where you have to buy entrance ticket.
You need to share a flat for this.
For that, you need to share a flat, of course. For that, you have to have flatmates, have to have the flexibility of not being able to choose who you're going to live with, because here the landlords having real strict regulations, so you can't choose. I mean, you have to be open-minded, friendly, and flexible, because sometimes you get to live with people who you don't like at all, and sometimes you get lucky and you have a good relationship with your flatmates. So that already happened to me, and my first place there was absolutely not good harmony, because I lived with Latin American women in their 60s and they didn't speak any English. When I moved here, I didn't speak any Spanish, so I learned Spanish in a year. That first time was not a good thing, because they always try to take advantage on that I'm not speaking Spanish. Everything, when something broke in the house, they wanted me to pay it, even though I just moved in, so I obviously didn't break it, but you know, things like this. And then at the moment where I live, it's the fourth place where I live in Barcelona so far in 2 years, and that we have a very good relationship, because it's young folks, Erasmus students coming here for their masters, whatever, similar age category like myself, and people in their 30s, and then we can find a common ground. Yes.